Okay, this Hangout on Air is now live. Okay,
Yay.
so now I have to find the group and I have to send the link.
Okay. Is the group chat visible?
For me, the group chat is visible. I can see it. Wait,
So if people are viewing it, can they see it?
yeah, so on mobile and on, wait 1 second.
Wait, like this one?
Okay, on YouTube, if they're opening the YouTube thing, there's a live chat on the right, and then on mobile, you also have it.
But the one we've been talking in isn't
Oh,
visible,
no,
right?
they can't see that one.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is weird. I just opened the YouTube one.
Oh, this is really weird. Please say hi in the group chat so we know it's working.
Wait, so how are you viewing the chat? Do you have it on another tab or
But
how are you viewing the chat, like the pop-up chat?
I popped it out, then I moved it to the side of the.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh, wait, you can do it mobile too, right?
yeah, you can.
Okay.
Should we send it to Bosslings?
Live updates?
Oh, wait, can we just send it without any explanation? Yeah, let's just send it.
Okay.
Hello, people.
Hello.
That's Audrey. So she's. Oh, hello. 5 viewers. Wow, we're popular.
Whoa.
This is kind of cool, actually. Okay, so should we wait a little while?
How many people are you expecting?
I don't know. I mean, all the people in the chat were interested.
Do you want to wait till like 8:10?
Let's start at 8:08.
Okay. That's a really specific time.
What's up, viewers?
How are your evenings?
Oh.
Let's talk about what we ate for dinner. What do you eat for dinner?
What did I eat for dinner? I didn't eat any dinner yet.
Oh, just late.
I know, my family's just leaving right now to go to dinner, but...
Oh, Helly's eating ramen.
Talk in the group chat
That's tasty.
YouTube, please. Wait, she sees the group chat on YouTube, right? Do you? Oh no, definitely not. I don't think we're gonna go past 10, are we?
Might go until like 9. I'd say that's it.
Yeah, and honestly, even if you're not able to stay the entire time, the YouTube link will save.
Oh,
So you can just rewatch the video, no matter how uncomfortable that makes me. The purpose of the live stream versus a video is that you're able to ask questions while we're doing it. So then it's more interactive, I guess. Skyline High School is talking. That is interesting. I found the chat. Helly, you're on the Skyline account. Oh, hello. Okay, 8:06. This is really cool. Ooh, I can turn the sound of you up or down. Or cameraman. What is this? Oh.
Hi, Christy.
Hello, Christy.
I'm kind of concerned. You're a couple months into your term. How have you been making newsletters so far?
What have you been doing? What the heck?
How do you highlight?
You've been struggling then, haven't you?
Oh, let me know if you need help.
8:07.
1 more minute, yay!
Yay. Oh, what the
Hi,
heck?
Dina.
Hello, Dina. I'll post it in the page. Learn how to make it. Okay, 8:07. Do any of you guys have anything specific that you guys want us to address? What the? Yes, I steal Christie's designs all the time. No, dude, I released before you. Sorry, and you didn't show me your newsletter either. We just have the same minds apparently. Save that again, please. No.
You can rewatch the video.
Okay, it's 8:08, so we should start. Shall we start?
Hey.
Okay. 11 viewers, nice. Okay, so I'm going to, so how this is gonna work is I'm gonna basically screen share my computer, and then you guys are gonna be able to see what I'm doing on my computer, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, I'm gonna start sharing. And what we're gonna start, oh my gosh, wait, why is there two? Screen two. Okay. The reason, okay, so what we're gonna start off first with is the website because it's new, but it's also a resource that a lot of you are going to be able to use. And at the OTC, I wasn't able to actually show you the entire website, as many of you know. So it's finally up, and you guys are actually able to use it. So it's pnwkeyclub.org. And we're not gonna explore the website, but we're just gonna show you mainly the promotional materials that are gonna be useful to you guys. So if you go site, then under resources, your main two things that you're gonna be using as an editor will be the officer and advisor resources here. And then if you click editors, it's right here. Or you'll be using the promotional materials, which you're going to be using on anything from your newsletter to flyers you create or PowerPoints or stuff like that. So all of that is on these two tabs. So we're going to start off just with promotional materials because Key Club has a very specific branding, I guess. And the reason that is because we want to maintain a very consistent and recognizable image across, I guess, because we're an international organization across the globe. So that's why like some logos, like seals like this, or like colors, pencils, and all this, that's why they're there, is because it's just to maintain a consistent image throughout the district or throughout international. So what we're going to start off first with is brand guide. So if you just click that right here, brand guide 2015, that will probably be updated soon, but right now it's 2015, so we're going to use this one. Audrey, do you want to start off?
Sure. So this is the brand guide, and like Peter said, it's updated. Wait, say, Peter, do you want to wear earbuds?
Oh, can you not hear me? Oh, wait, is it really loud?
Oh, no, it
Wait.
does that echo thing.
Oh, okay, one
Oh,
second.
wait, just kidding. It's okay.
Okay.
Okay. um, okay, so basically, like Peter said, they come out with the brand guide every year, and usually it stays relatively the same from year to year. They might add in like a font or two every once in a while, but it usually stays the same for that consistent look. So this is the brand guide, and you can find it on Key Club International's website, or you can just go to our website or Google Key Club brand guide, and you'll be able to find it easily. Um, so there it says brand yourself in your club, and we could skip past intro.
Okay, one second. I'm trying to zoom in.
Okay.
Ooh, look at that.
Oh, yay.
Wait, can I just wait? I'm gonna open. Oh, wait, one second. Sorry. I am going to open it in Adobe.
Okay, I'll just keep talking about branding.
Oh, wait, one
So
second.
basically,
Also you can't
mhm.
see the screen because I'm presenting you. Sorry.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
wait, that's my face. One
Oh,
second.
yeah, that's your face.
Okay, I'm gonna present mine, but Audrey, you can keep on talking. Sorry
Okay.
about
So basically branding, like Peter said, you're trying to create a consistent look across Key Club International so like you can have like a really recognizable image. So when people see key components of the brand, like the pencil graphic or century graphic or the seal, people recognize it and they think, oh, that's Key Club. They're related to volunteering and service projects. And it's just you're trying to create a professional, clean, and recognizable look for your club that matches with other clubs.
that. Okay,
Um,
can everyone see the brand guide thing? Say yes or no, please.
Send a smiley face
Yeah, send a smiley face.
because interactive.
Oh, or you can say yes.
Okay.
Seems like you guys got it. Okay.
Yay.
Okay.
Oh, we got a sad face. Oh, okay.
Oh,
And while the Key Club brand guide is there to maintain consistency, there's also a bit of leeway with what you can do with brand guide. You can definitely play around with it. It's not too strict. I mean, it gives you fonts and the seals and the colors, but you can play around with it. There's like no rule against adding on additional fonts too, so you can really use whatever fonts you want. Make an effort to use the main fonts there though. But yeah, be creative with it. Don't feel like it's a restriction, more so a guideline. So that's the intro. A brand is just like you, a living, breathing thing that's constantly changing. So yeah, it gets updated. It adjusts based on where the organization wants to go and what image they want to put on. So this is the brand. So what makes Key Club look like Key Club? You have the word mark, the seal, the fonts, the colors, the graphics, and other stuff. So let's move on to word mark. This is the word mark. It's pretty simple. It's just the word. I know it's tempting to sometimes just type in Key Club using the Century Gothic font, but this word mark is slightly different because the letters are spaced out in a certain way. So it's preferable, and it has like the little R in the top right. So it's preferable that you use the JPEG or PNG image of this rather than typing in Key Club yourself. So these are just a few rules regarding the word mark and what you do with it. So there's different orientations for the word mark. You have the vertical one, the horizontal one, the stacked one. Pretty simple, yeah.
oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, try not to crowd the word mark. So like this isn't considered crowding. This is considered like stretching and distorting it. So basically, you just don't want to like stretch it out or mess up its proportions because it kind of like taints the image of the logo and puts on a less professional feel to it. Like it's just not the same as the original. That being said, for spacing, you want to always make sure that there's like, sorry, can you go back to the last slide?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you always want to give it a bit of space. So a good rule is you have like the square size of the K. You want to give that much space around the word mark, just so that you don't crowd it and that, you know, it's nice and free and easy to read.
And then, do you want me to go on this one?
Sure.
Okay, so for okay, I think we did touch on this at the OTC, but just to refresh, if when you download the word mark and you're using Photoshop or PowerPoint or anything that you're designing, it's very important to keep the proportions correctly. I know the one trick that you do when you're resizing these things is you're holding down shift while you resize them. That way it doesn't shrink or stretch like this. So it maintains the look of the word mark. Also, do not combine logos. Just use the one. There's not much to.
Yeah.
The logo is a logo. That's how we make it instantly recognizable to people. When you mess with it, it loses power. Keep it clean. So.
And you can like put logos near each other and stuff. Just try to follow like the K rule. So if it's like far enough from each other that you can differentiate them as different logos, then it's fine.
Yeah. There's a seal. I mean, it's the same rules as the word mark as well. So yeah, there's the seal. It's just pretty basic. Those are the colors it comes in as well as a white version. The seal also has those rules. Just a quick explanation, actually, about the Kiwanis Service Leadership programs. So if you guys don't know already, I'm assuming most of you guys do know, actually, but we're part of the K family, the Kiwanis family. So that means we're partnered with Kiwanis, we're partnered with Builders Club, Action Club, K Kids. We're all united under one cause, which is like bettering the world. And Kiwanis is just like an adult version of Key Club, I guess. And what we are called actually is a Kiwanis Service Leadership Program, or SLP for short. And we also fall under Key Club. What else falls under the category? Builders Club, K Kids all fall under that category. So we often brand ourselves as a Kiwanis SLP. So using this logo. Do you have anything else to add on that, Audrey?
No, that's basically it.
Okay. And then also all these logos you can find under the promotional materials right here, or you can download the entire PNW promotion kit, which contains all those logos. And that will be updated as more stuff comes out. So yeah, and if you guys have any questions, just like let us know in the chat, like anything at all, any small thing, because we can see the chat. So yeah, moving on. Promote our partnership with UNICEF. So if you guys didn't know, a really big event that Key Club always does each year around Halloween is Trick or Treat for UNICEF. And all that money goes towards our previous district project from last year, the Eliminate project, and which basically eliminating maternal neonatal tetanus in the third world countries. So that's just the logo for that, I guess. We don't have to really go into much detail for that. I mean, all the same rules apply about resizing the logo, stretching it, etc. Audrey, do you want to do these?
Okay, so these are the fonts. You have 6 options available, and there's kind of like a different purpose for each font. So Myriad Pro is a really basic one. You can see they use it there as like a paragraph font, so like a long text font. Yeah, so you can use Myriad Pro as either a body text, which is, just like the main paragraph, the article of your newsletter, or you can use it as a header font too, like a title font. When I use it as a title font, I like to use Myriad Pro Bold just to bring more attention to the title. Century Gothic is, also, if you zoom in there, you'll see that says like primary sans serif font. It'll say alternate serif font, primary serif font, things like that. So basically, like a serif is like the little tail at the end of some of the letters. So I like to think of it as just serif fonts are kind of like the fancy fonts, and the sans serif are like the clean, sleek looking ones. Like all the top row ones are sans serif fonts, and the bottom ones are serif fonts.
Yeah, if you think about sans means without. So serif is actually the like little tails and stuff like that. So if you say sans serif, then it's without the actual tails and stuff. So that's why these ones look more clean, I guess. I mean, I feel like these ones are usually considered more modern than the ones.
Yeah. Yeah, just a fun fact. So Myriad Pro, you can use it for body text or header text. Again, header text, I like to use bold with that. Make sure if you're doing body text for Myriad Pro, that it's just like the regular Myriad Pro. Century Gothic, so that's like kind of the go-to Key Club font, if I think, for a lot of the PNW. Use it for titles, headers, subheaders, whatever. I usually don't use it for like body text just because it's very round and has a lot of like personality to it. And I think like in a body text, it can be a bit distracting. Myriad Pro is a lot simpler, but it's personal preference. Verdana is very similar. Myriad, you can use that one for any. I don't see that one used as often. But yeah, Century Gothic is a very good go-to font for like just instant key club recognition. Garamond.
Usually a lot of LTGs use a lot of like Century
Yeah.
Gothic, and then you bold it, and then you italicize it.
Yeah.
And it's all caps. So
there they just have like the basic versions of the fonts, but you can use like any version of the font, like the italicized one, the bold one, the light, thin, etc. So moving on to the serif font. So you have Garamond Premiere Pro. You can use that one for titles, main text. Yeah, titles, main text, anything. Similarly, Gaudi is like a really similar font. You can use that one just for like paragraph text too. It's just like the thinner, cleaner one. And then you have Able Display Italic. So Able Display Italic is slightly different because it's a display font, and that means it's kind of more like a decoration. So the general rule of thumb is don't use Able Display Italic or display fonts for more than 10% of the page. So you just want to use it for things like photo captions, little like 2-word bits of text, just like a decoration.
yeah, I know. And a lot of this is like a display font. So usually Key Club likes, like for display fonts at least, there's a lot of leniency. So you usually find your own display fonts. In our PNW promotion kit, we included a lot of display fonts that are pretty commonly used, at least like among the district editors. So if you guys want to check those out, you can.
Yeah. Yeah, Able Display Font, don't use it for like body text or title text. Just use it for like small bits. Wait, do you have the website open?
No. Yes.
Can you go to the
Yes,
resources? Yeah, so you see that like little bit of text next to the line.
right here.
Yeah, that's Able Display. So we just use it as a display font, little decoration to add bits of text, but not for like main text.
Yeah.
So yeah. Any questions about the fonts? And again, like you can use your own fonts too. Just use these when you're creating official Key Club materials.
No questions.
Yay! Okay.
Okay. Moving on. Do we have to go over this? I mean, this.
I don't think so. I think just a basic thing. You can mix serif and sans serif fonts.
It usually looks pretty good too, actually. If you have like,
Mm-hmm.
if you're pairing them together.
Yeah, like all of those fonts in the brand guide, they all look pretty good together. Like Century Gothic, Myriad, Myriad, and like some of the fancier fonts, like they all look really good together. So, play around with it.
Okay. Do you want me to go over this?
Sure.
Okay, so if you guys, so how colors are identified in the computer world are they have different codes. So in our case, there's PMS, CMYK, RGB, and hex codes. Usually, I guess for me at least, most commonly we use hex codes, just because they're, you know, right here. So I mean, it's one long piece of numbers rather than stuff that's split up. We'll show you later how to use hex codes in Photoshop or in like PowerPoint or something like that. But yeah, most commonly we usually use hexadecimal. So I'll give you an example. For PNW, we have an official color. If you didn't know, there's an official PNW fuchsia. So if we look on Pantone, the website, it gives us, so this is the color that we use for PNW fuchsia, and it gives you these values, so 227, 28, and 121. We usually just use the hex code. All of these equate to each other, just depending on what setting you use, but hex code is usually pretty appropriate to use for any sort of case. Do you guys have any questions on codes, hex codes, or stuff like that? And you'll see more applications of it on the next page as well. No questions? You guys want to send a what is it? A tongue out face? This face, this colon P. Are you guys still there? Okay, I'm just gonna move on. Oh, hello, Audrey.
Oh, yay.
Okay.
Caroline is here.
Caroline is here. Oh, hello. Okay, so just more examples of the codes in action. So Key Club also has official colors. So we have black, blue, cyan, all of these. Usually, I mean, we don't follow them too strictly. They're just more recommended if you guys run out of color ideas, or if you guys don't have a certain color scheme that you want to use. Go ahead and use these ones and follow them based off of these. I mean, they're just there to use. They're pre-selected, and they all work together pretty well. So yeah, those are the official Key Club colors.
Also, you guys don't have to use those exact colors. You can just type in the hex code, but you can use different shades of the color too. Yeah. And those are like every color of the rainbow, so really at that point you can use any color you want.
Yeah. And then here's optional colors. Yeah, so just, okay.
The pencil graphic, yay! This graphic is awesome. It's the pencil graphic. So you have different kinds of pencil graphics, and they can be used in a lot of ways. We'll demonstrate later. But it's kind of like a key component of the brand guide. A lot of people associate it with Key Club. So you have the scribble pencil. The solid pencil isn't there. I think they discontinued the solid pencil, but people still use it. It looks very similar to the other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's not there, but guys, the solid pencil looks really good, so keep using it. Yeah, you have the scribble pencil, you have the little to realistic pencil, and you have the multicolor pencil. If you look in the P&W promotion kit, which is on the website, you have the pencils in every color available. We can also show you on Photoshop later how to change the colors of the pencils, but for now you can just download the promotion kit and you'll have every color of the pencil available.
Yeah, we followed this, so we made the colors in, we made each pencil in all of these.
Yeah, usually the pencils work best as headers, so you'll have it at like the top of the page or the bottom of the page as a footer, and then you can just put some text on top of it.
Yeah, so it's really universal to use anywhere. So.
Yeah, and like the pencil graphic isn't a logo or anything, so you can do whatever you want with it. You can change the color, you can make it longer, shorter, you can put text on top of it. Try not to like stretch it out like vertically, because then it makes it fatter and doesn't look like the Key Club pencil anymore. Yeah.
You guys will see what we mean. Moving on.
This is like the clip art of Key Club International.
Yeah, use it where you want.
Yeah, but use it sparingly. Try not to use it more than once on a page, because then it just gets too cluttered.
Yeah.
Yeah, that like the little border thing's really nice.
This. Yeah, so these are just examples of some Key Club graphics. In my opinion, I guess they're just really like recognizable as Key Club. I mean, you have the logo right here, you have the logo right here, and it's just, and you have all the colors, so they're just really recognizable in terms of Key Club. So if you saw something, if you just saw this, it would, I mean, obviously it says Key Club, but it just looks very recognizably Key Club, I guess. Moving on. Okay, we don't have to go over this. Photography. I don't think we should go. Do we really need to? Just be photo smart. Take pictures of people actually doing stuff. Not, I mean, it's like action shots are always good, because since we're a service organization, you always want to like show off like the service you're actually doing to the community, like actively doing it. Of course, group shots and stuff like that are always nice, but yeah, just preferably stuff that's like a key clubber interacting with someone from the community and helping them out or something like that.
And always try to get faces.
Yeah. Expressions, reactions, moments, emotions, etc. You guys can always look at this later. We can move on. Okay. Resolution. I think we're gonna go over this in a second.
This is better explained during the demonstration.
Yeah. Here are some pictures of good things. T-shirts. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna show you something that you shouldn't do. So don't do this.
Oh.
So I'm gonna do this right. I'm just gonna explain it right now. So a JPEG versus a a JPEG versus a PNG. So do you guys all know what JPEGs are? And do you guys all know what PNGs are?
We should probably explain it anyways.
Okay, yeah. So JPEGs and PNGs, they're all different types of files. So if, for example, if you look in, let's see, if you go to the PNW promotion kit and then you look at all the logos right here, they all have a .png ending to it. That's what determines what the actual file type is. So there's the most two commonly used the two commonly used image file types are PNG, which is this one, and there's JPEG, which is this one, JPG. So the main difference between JPG and PNG, in layman's terms, I guess, is that PNG, you're allowed to be transparent. So do you guys see where this shirt right here, the icon shirt with Atlanta, do you see how it has a white background? Like, that's because it's a JPEG file, and JPEG files don't support transparent backgrounds. If this were a PNG, you could remove this entire white background, and it would look a lot nicer on a shirt like this. So just keeping that in mind, usually a general rule of thumb is just using the PNG version. In the promotion kit that we have online, it's all PNG, so you guys don't really have to worry about that. But if you're using like clip art that you find online or stuff like that, just a general rule of thumb, look for a PNG versus a JPEG because they're just more functional, I guess. Audrey, do you have anything to add on to that?
Also, PNGs retain resolution, so it's kind of hard to explain, but like if you're gonna be how do we explain this? So basically, you know when you like compress an image and it gets all like pixely and stuff like that, or you would like drag and drop it onto all of these different files, JPEGs tend to lose their resolution over time, so they would start to get really pixely and like weird, whereas PNGs are more likely to retain their resolution. So PNG files are bigger images usually. So PNGs, you can't choose like the image quality. It is what it is, but JPEG files, you can pick the image quality. And we'll go over that later in Photoshop too.
Yeah, and then also just another example in case you guys didn't get what we said earlier. Sorry, I'm trying to find it. Right here, you'll see JPEG and PNG. So this one has a white background, this one doesn't. And we'll show you how to remove a white background if you want. Because usually that's pretty convenient. It always looks nice removing the background of like people and like making pop outs and stuff in your newsletters, which is usually pretty cool. Moving on, I guess. I don't think we need to go.
No.
I never go over that. Just proofread your stuff. Make sure it's professional and make sure it makes sense. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, when you're writing articles, especially if you have other people writing articles for you, make sure you always proofread the work before you put it into your newsletter. What I like to do is I'll usually put all the written content in a newsletter onto Word or whatever before I throw it onto Photoshop. That way it spell checks everything for you. Very important, Photoshop does not have spell check, so it won't catch your spelling errors for you.
It's always nice to write out your articles in in Word and then transferring them to Photoshop. It's the same stuff. Okay, moving on. Just proofread your stuff, that's all. Okay, and that's the end of the brand guide. 27 pages. 28 pages, actually. Yes, 28 pages. Okay, moving on. So from brand guide, we're gonna move on to, we're gonna go to back to the website actually. So what we would recommend doing is downloading actually this entire PNW promotion kit. You guys can just click that and download it, and then you have all the resources that you need, the fonts, the logos, miscellaneous stuff, all of Morty the Moose. And oh, Morty the Moose is our district mascot, so use him everywhere. And then you have all the pencils that we were talking about before. But you guys are here for newsletters, not for branding. So we're gonna go move on to newsletters and how to actually make one. So we've made it easy for you. If you guys are using Photoshop, honestly, a lot of stuff that we teach using Photoshop, the ideas that we do in Photoshop, you can usually find in other applications, whether it be, what does Lisa use, PicMonkey, or like Microsoft Publisher or something like that. You'll be able to figure out. This is more just giving you ideas, especially if you're using Photoshop, you'll see how we do most of the newsletters. So moving on, going to Officer and Advisor resources, if you go to the Bulletin Editors tab right here, you have all the resources you need to do a newsletter. Another thing that's really useful, 2 years ago, the district editor, Jenny Zhang, created a editor's guide to style. So it just kind of really gives you an overview of everything that we're about to show you. So yeah, if you guys want to check that out, just to remember some stuff, you can check that out. So we give you a PowerPoint template that you guys can use, and we'll show you how to use that with Photoshop later if you want, but you can use this for newsletters as well. So what you guys are going to look at are the 1-page newsletter and the 2-page newsletter if you're using Photoshop. The 1-pagers would be for the front cover and the back cover, while the 2-page newsletters are going to be the inside spreads. So for example, on issue, I guess I'll just go back to this. This is the 1-page, and then this is the 2-page. And the reason why you wouldn't do a bunch of 1-pagers is because if you ever want to connect to make a 2-pager like very fluid across both pages, you want to do it on one document so everything lines up. It's much harder to do that on a 1-page document. So yeah, Audrey, do you want to? I mean, I guess
not much to add. Do you want to just go straight on to the demo?
Okay. Yeah, so let's go to, shall we go to a cover photo? Let's start with cover.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull up one of my old newsletters. Actually, let's just start making the new newsletter. What's the latest? Oh shoot, I don't even have my latest one on here. Oh well. Okay, so we're gonna do my July newsletter, I guess. So if you download the 1-page newsletter Photoshop file, it just gives you an 8.5 by 11 Photoshop file, and that's the size of a piece of paper. So yeah, So on your cover photo, your cover of your newsletter, you have a 1-pager. And it's always nice to include like the Key Club International seal or even the Pacific Northwest District seal logo. What else to add? You can have a creative title. For example, for Division 28, since our mascot is Batman, Gotham Chronicles, because Gotham City, and it's been like that for a while. Maintaining a consistent title is usually preferred among clubs. So if you guys don't have a if you guys don't have a creative title, you guys can make one. It's up to your discretion, honestly. Another thing that goes on the cover is the month and then the volume and issue number. So an explanation about volume and issue. So each volume, the volume number is determined by what number editor you are, since your club or your division or whatever started creating newsletters. For example, the latest recorded newsletter was 2 years ago for my division. So I'm the third LTG to have done a newsletter for my division. So that's why we're volume 3. And then each newsletter I make, I go up by 1 issue. So this is the 4th. The July newsletter is the 4th newsletter that I've created. Does that make sense to everyone?
Think about months too. I know months can be a bit confusing, but for the month, you always want to choose the month that you're publishing it in. So let's say it was July 5th that you're publishing your newsletter, then your newsletter should be for the month of July, even though you're recapping events that happened in June.
Yeah, so just make it the newsletter, make the month should align with the actual month you're in. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions about cover? Because we're just going to move on from here. Say no if you don't have questions. Or not. I feel like it's kind of delayed, the live stream. Or like some people, yeah I think it is
because we
delayed.
would get like a rush of smiley faces.
Yeah. There we go. Oh, look at that. No. Okay. I guess every time I ask a question, we have to wait like a minute.
Okay.
2 just messaged me no. Okay, so moving on. Since there's no questions with the cover page, we're going to move on to a 2. Wait, actually, Audrey, do you want to start explaining?
2-pager?
What do you want to do next?
Do you want to start from a scratch file?
Yeah, let's do that. So
okay.
I'm going to go to the website and then I'm going to download the 2 page and then I'm going to download it and it's going to download. So I just open it right here. So there's your 2 page. So this is 8.5. No. 11.
That is 17 by 11.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to start with file new image too, just to go through like the process of starting a new file?
Yeah, just tell me what to do.
Oh, okay. Go to file. Go to new. Yeah. So this is how you would usually start a new page or a new file or whatever. So if you're doing newsletters, then you can download straight from the website, or you can just start a new image. Either way works. If you're making like a poster or something, you don't want to use the standard 8.5 by 11 or 17 by 11, then this is how you would do it. And you can put in whatever size you want. So there you already have 8.5 by 11. And yeah.
And also, this is applicable to any other application that you guys use. For a 1-pager, it will be 8.5 by 11, and then for 2 pagers, it will be 11 by 17. And we're going to show you how you export from any program to make it into a newsletter that's compatible with issue.
And yeah, that's just the width and the height in inches, but you can also do it in like pixels or points, or I don't remember what the other one was. But yeah, there's different units to do it in. Inches is usually the easiest. So you have the width and height. You can put whatever you want in there. Resolution, make sure your resolution is always at 300, just so you have a high quality image. The rest of them is pretty standard. Background color, or background contents, you can do it white, you can do it transparent, or you can do it any other color you want. So if you want to start off the file with a background color already, then you can do that. Or you can start from transparent. Yeah.
Okay. Should we just do the 2-pager?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you want to start with?
Um, let's start off with, do you want to explain like colors and picking colors? So can you, oh, actually, let's do layers first.
Or should we do outlining a newsletter?
Oh, um, do you guys want to learn how to use Photoshop first?
Or do you want to know like what goes into a newsletter? Because I feel like a lot of you already know. It's just more of how to do it. Wait, like
So we'll wait a bit.
both. Okay, both.
Which do you want to start with?
Um, okay, the carrots are good. Okay.
Okay. Um, do you want to?
Let's start with outline.
Okay. Yeah, outline should be really quick.
I have an outline, I think. I usually outline, I think. So it's always good practice before you start a newsletter to actually outline your what outline your actual newsletter. The reasoning why is because then you can stay focused, but also it makes sure that you have a certain number of pages. Because on issue, you have a front cover, and then you have 2-pagers, and then you have a back cover. So I guess I'll give you an example of the reason why we do this. I'm gonna move. Okay. Well, Audrey, you can start with explaining the outline first.
Newsletter outline?
Yeah.
So yeah, newsletter outlines are just really helpful to outline what you're going to put in your newsletter so you can always refer to it later to see if you're forgetting anything. It also lets you know your page numbers. So I don't know if you mentioned this already, but page numbers, basically you always want to have an even amount of pages. Just so that you have the front cover and the back cover. If you have an odd number of pages, what you'll end up with is you'll end the booklet with a 2-pager. You won't be able to see the back cover, and the back cover will end up being the second page of the 2-pager.
Sorry.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to explain, but basically just stick with just stick with even number of pages. You should always have evens on the left, odds on the right for your page numbers. So just keep that in mind while you're making it. If you're going to have signups for articles, so having other people write your articles for you, always provide a word count so people know how much they should be writing and so that you don't have too much text or too little text in your newsletter. For example, in Espresso, I'll usually make a word count for like a typical article, like 100 to 150 words. That gives a good range. Yeah, that's basically it for outline. Do you want to go through the content of a newsletter now?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Well, I have like what I have on here, but you can add more.
Okay. Because that one's divisional, I have like a club one I can go through.
Yeah.
Sorry, I gotta find it.
Oh, I have an example of oh no, I don't.
Okay, so I'll just go through a list. Wait, if you go to the editor training slides, it's there.
Okay, wait, I have it.
Okay.
One sec. Where?
Scroll. It's like the third slide in the newsletter portion. Yeah. Before that. Yeah. So what goes in a newsletter? So of course you have your cover page that we already went into. You have your table of contents. So that's just outlining everything in your newsletter. I know whether you put like cover page and table of contents inside of your table of contents is optional. It's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, like it's kind of redundant to have table of contents in the table of contents, but you know, you do whatever you want. So a few things you can put into your newsletter. So you can have member of the month, president's letter, month in review. Month in review is a definite must for every newsletter. You should be talking about what your club has been doing over the past month. So when you send it out to members, faculty advisors, Kwanians, officers, etc., people can catch up with what your club has been doing and know know what kind of club Key Club is. So when you're doing month in review, make sure you use lots of pictures. That's where you'll probably use most of your pictures for. Make sure you get like DCMs, volunteer events, service projects. You can do meetings if you have any kind of special meetings going on. And usually just one article to summarize everything that happened or several articles to summarize each event. Either or. And then you should always have upcoming events so people know how they can get involved with your club in the near future. You can do that in the shape of like a calendar or a list of events, a description of each event, whatever you want. Just make sure you have upcoming events in there. Fundraising updates, club contacts, and back cover. Do you want to add anything? You can also have like an editor's corner. That's always nice. And then you can just like put in your little hello or goodbye.
Yeah, that's always nice too. And
Yeah.
I mean, you can, and another tip is just with newsletters, you're arranging everything, but like, I don't know if you said this already, Audrey, but like, you can get a lot of people to write the actual articles
Yeah.
for you. You can have members, you can have officers. It's always a good idea to have a assortment of both. So yeah, I actually have a example of what we were talking about earlier with the stuff. Lisa, if you're watching this, I'm not trying to call you out. I just tried finding an example, and yours was the first, and you don't do this anymore. But basically, you can see how Lisa's right here. It says 13 pages. So this is the very end, and this was where it ends. It's kind of weird because it ends on a 2-pager. But then, for example, like, I mean, I guess I'm pretty sure you guys all get it by now, but it's always good to have an even page of even numbers, because then you have an ending like this, so it looks like an actual newsletter rather than like this. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, so newsletters are a really important communication tool, but it's also a nice way to get your members involved with your club and yeah, just being involved with the club's activities and stuff. So getting them to write about the articles or write the articles about the events, featuring them in pictures, member of the month, those are always really fun ways to get them involved and feeling like part of their club and like part of the family.
And I guess one of the biggest reasons sometimes you use, and why do you make a newsletter? It's not only to inform your members, but it's also to inform like your principal, the rest of your school. And it's honestly really, really cool because Key Club is probably the only club in all of your school that actually creates a newsletter. It actually makes your club look like really legit, right? Because you're really serious about it, and it's just really cool to have, and people enjoy it a lot.
And like, I mean, there's so many different means of communications. You can call someone, you can email someone, but when you receive a newsletter, it's like, whoa, what's this? There's pictures, there's colors, there's fun stuff going on. And it kind of makes people want to look at it and read it and know more about your club.
Yeah, and honestly, a newsletter is a really nice way of compiling everything into one thing that everyone can read. So you don't have a bunch of posts that people have to like go through. And like, it's a good way to keep your Kiwanians and your faculty advisors up.
Also, it kind of serves as like a club archive. So if you look back at your club's previous newsletters, you can look at what they did like maybe 2 or 3 years back and know what kind of service projects or volunteers events they participated in that you can get involved in too. So it's a good way to track what your club has been doing and also to see your club grow. Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Actual Photoshop 101. Let's do it.
Yay. Okay, let's start off with layers.
Yes. Okay. Do you want to do it, or do you want me to do it?
Okay. Layers is probably the most confusing, but also one of the most simple concepts in Photoshop. It just takes a while to get the hang of. So can you go over to like the lower right side?
Yeah, right here.
So you see that box there? That is the layers panel, and that's where you control all of your layers. So basically in Photoshop, you're always working in layers. You don't really have an option unless you stay on one layer. Um, but
You should
like,
basically
how do you
impossible.
explain this? Okay, so you see that white background? That's one layer. Can you create a new layer? And now you have a new layer, but there's nothing on that layer. Can you
Okay,
like,
think about it as like
it's literally like
it's
paper, so
actual layers. Let's say like
yeah.
you have like if you had a sheet of paper and then you put another thing on it, that's a layer. And
Yeah,
then you put another thing on it, it's another layer. So
it's
it's
like
just different layers that you. Ugh. Okay.
yeah, so I'm gonna do like an actual demo.
Okay.
So you
Wait.
have like your first layer, right? And
Wait. Let me.
this is your
Wait.
oh
Wait.
okay.
Okay. There you go.
Okay, so we're doing like a live demonstration about actual layers. So this is your first layer. So this would be like your background layer, your initial layer. And you can so it's like it's actually like paper. Like you can like draw on it, you can put text on it. Whatever you're doing, you do it on this one layer. Now let's say I add a new layer in. Whoa, new layer. So if I was to draw on this layer, it wouldn't like affect this layer, right? It stays on this piece of paper. So in Photoshop, you can control which layer you're working in. You can like rearrange your layers. So for example, if this paper, if I had this paper all white, but I colored this paper all black, then what you would see is all black because this black piece of paper is on top of the white piece of paper. But you can rearrange the layers so that the white one's on top of the black one. Um, that's like a basic explanation of layers. Can you present yourself?
Okay. 1 second.
Yeah,
And
we'll keep working with it, but yeah, basically you can make as many layers as you want, and you're gonna work in layers, so you can select which layer you're working in. So if you do one thing and wait, sorry, can you create a new layer?
yeah.
And can you draw like a stroke or yeah, like a circle or something there?
Wait. I'm gonna make this good.
Yeah, so that's a smiley face in layer one, right? Um,
But then,
you start a new layer,
whoa.
layer two, and can you change the color?
Yes. Let's do
Or
that.
yeah, or maybe just draw like eyebrows on the smiley face.
Oh my God. This is.
And that's all drawn in layer two. So
So, look.
what's in
Basically,
layer two doesn't affect layer one.
yeah. See, I can draw over this. But then if I hide this layer, do you see this eyeball right here? You can click that and it hides it. But look,
Oh.
I didn't actually edit this layer. So selecting each layer that you work on. So basically, it's like
Wait, can you
this is
move layer two under layer one? Like reorganize it.
yeah. And then also like a sheet of paper. Think about it like transparent paper. So transparent stuff on top of each other. So if the layer 2 is above layer 1, everything drawn on layer 2 will overlap layer 1. But if I move layer 2 below layer 1, then layer 1 is on top, and that's why the pink shows through. But if I
Yeah.
move layer 2 back on top, then the red
Uh,
shows.
can you transform layer two so it's smaller, or move it around or something?
Um,
Okay, so now Peter's using the move tool and he can move that layer around. So when you're using the move tool, it only applies to that layer. So he can move that layer around without affecting the other one.
yeah. So basically, every time you're just affecting one of those papers, not all of them.
And you can do like different stuff with layers too. You can also merge layers, you can duplicate layers.
So for example, if you
Yeah.
wanted to merge these two layers, and that basically means you don't have separate layers, it's one paper, not two papers. Nathan, it does not look like me. Then I can merge the two layers, and now look, I can't do anything. Like it all moves as one object rather than as two objects. In
Um,
addition, another thing that if say I wanted to undo, so why do we use layers? Okay. Why do we use layers?
it's so you can better organize your things and you can move certain things around without moving other things. So can you go to your cover?
To my cover?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's okay. So for example, can you go to the KCI logo, that layer?
Right here.
Name your layers, guys. So yeah, for example, Peter has like all these different graphics going on the cover, right? So if they were all on one layer, you wouldn't be able to manipulate each one independently. So that's why you put it on different layers. So at this point, Peter can move around the KCI logo wherever he wants
Okay,
without affecting the other ones.
for example, honestly, in PowerPoint, it always uses layers, except it's never explicitly said they're layers because they're always objects. So if you think about each layer as like an object, then it'll be like, it's very much like PowerPoint.
It's like, if you're familiar with PowerPoint, it's like the move to back function or like bring forward or send back.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Kelly, does that answer your question? Sort of.
Yay.
Okay. So, going back, another thing to, so recent, is Photoshop recommended over PowerPoint? That's a interesting question. Photoshop, there is a really steep learning curve, but then by learning it, and also it costs money, but there are other ways you can get it, and you can also trial the Photoshop thing and just keep on retrialing. I think that works usually. But Photoshop, there's a really steep learning curve, but the benefits that you get from it are a lot. Like you can do so much more with Photoshop than you can with PowerPoint. On the other hand, PowerPoint is very easy to use. It's very, I mean, you can do a lot with PowerPoint as well. It's more user-friendly.
It really depends on what you want to do with the program. If you're looking into learning about design and graphics and creating other materials too, not just newsletters, then I would recommend learning Photoshop. You can definitely do a lot with Photoshop. There's a lot of versatility. There's also things like photo editing, photo manipulation that you can do on Photoshop outside of graphic design that you aren't able to do with PowerPoint. So it really depends on how much you want to do. Also, if you're planning on making a very text-heavy newsletter and not really focusing on the graphic design of it, I mean, that works too. You don't have to do something that always includes like so many pictures and graphics and things. I would recommend just sticking with PowerPoint or even like Word or Publisher, something that's similar and more tailored to your needs.
And in addition, just something I want to point out, Photoshop is one of those really like, it's an awesome tool to learn. If you have the time and you put the time into it, honestly, it's not just for Key Club. You can use it for anything. If you're on ASB, if you're in any other club, if you need to create a flyer or anything, Photoshop is honestly one of those tools that you'll never. I learned Photoshop in 6th grade, and it's just helped me throughout anything that I've done. So it's really nice to just learn, I guess, if you have the time.
And again, you don't have to use it for graphics. Like if you're into photography or if you want to learn photography, I would recommend learning Photoshop too. It's one of those really good tools. And Photoshop is really like, you can use it for anything if you try hard enough.
It's
like you
very
can
powerful.
you can use like, you can make like GIFs and stuff on it too.
Yeah. Okay, moving back. I just want to point something out. So just reminding you guys of what we just did. I merged the layer. So I merged layer 2 and layer 1. I'm gonna show you something that took me a while to figure out when I was first learning Photoshop. So I just created a new layer, so layer 3, and then I'm gonna draw something. The draw tool, the paint brush tool is right there. So you guys will eventually get used to all these. Okay, I drew something. Let's say I want to undo that. So I press Control Z, and everyone usually knows that's the undo button. But then let's say I wanted to undo my creation of that new layer. If I press Control Z again, that red thing comes back. So in Photoshop, in order to undo multiple times, instead of just pressing Control Z a bunch of times like you would do in PowerPoint, there's actually a different shortcut. It's Control Alt Z, is it?
Yeah.
Control Alt Z, and then you see that the new layer I created got removed because that's what I created. And let's say I wanted to unmerge the 2 layers. I could do Control Alt Z. Oh no, I moved it. Control Alt Z, and then it becomes 2 layers again. Another way you could do it is in Window up here and you click History, you can see a lot of your history that you've done. So I can move all the way back to when I first started this, or I can move forward to when I had the 2 layers, etc., etc. So there's a lot of ways you can do it, but Control-Alt-Z is the most common.
If you're on Mac, it's Command-Z.
Yeah.
And for going back multiple times, it's Command-Option-Z, but that's like the same thing as Alt. I'll write it in the chat.
Do you guys have any questions so far? Say yes or no, please. Okay, you guys seem to be good on that.
Can you go over opacity?
Yeah, let's do that next. So opacity, that's something that's really very common. So opacity is basically how, I mean, opacity is a word.
How transparent?
Let's look it up. Opacity. Opacity, the condition of lacking transparency or translucence, opaqueness. That kind of explains what it is. So basically, it's better if I just show you opacity. If I turn it down, it becomes a little see-through. It's more translucent. So if I turn down the opacity all the way, it disappears, which makes it the same as just deleting the layer. So yeah, just doing that. So you can make layers see-through, for example. What else?
Do you want to go over more shortcuts or? The only shortcuts I really use for layers is Control-Z or Command-Z. And if you're duplicating a layer, a really handy one is Command-J. If you're PC, that's probably Control-J, right?
Yeah, so if I wanted to duplicate, let's say I wanted to merge these, and then I wanted to. So I would go to the Move tool. I could make it a little smaller, and look how I'm holding Shift with the Shift button with me right now, so it doesn't change proportion. This would be the same practice with a Key Club logo, but if I let go of Shift, it can go like that. But if I hold Shift, it stays in proportion. Let's say if I wanted 2 of these weird things. So I have this layer right here. I can press Control-J and then move it aside, and then you have 2 layers. Or I could keep on just doing a bunch of layers, and then it just appears everywhere. So yeah, that's how you duplicate a layer. That's just one of the shortcuts of if you wanted multiple versions of this. Another quirky thing about Photoshop is that there's a background layer, and that makes it different than any other layer. When you initially start a Photoshop file, you'll have this background layer, and all you can do really is give it like a red background or give it a solid color background. There's nothing else you can do about it. And you'll see you're not able, oh, wait, what the heck?
You can unlock it.
Yeah, usually I didn't think you could delete it, but.
Oh, no, yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
if it's unlocked, you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in order to unlock the layer, you double click it, then you press OK, and it just becomes layer 0, and it becomes like any other layer. The restrictions of a background layer would be like you can't actually draw on the background layer. I don't think. At least that's how I learned it. Oh, wait, you can?
I usually don't use background layers. I just make it layer 0.
So what's unlock and lock? So basically, let's say with this, it's so much harder to see with. Okay. So unlocking and locking a layer. So basically, let's say I'm done with this object and I don't want to accidentally edit anything of it. I can click this lock button right here, and it'll lock the actual layer. That way I can't actually move anything. I can't select anything. It just becomes a permanent layer. I can't draw on it. Oh, wait. Yeah, see, you just can't edit the layer at all. Does that make sense?
Yay, okay.
Okay, we're just going over the basics of Photoshop right now, I guess.
What's another thing we can go over? Oh, do you want
Go
to
through.
do Control T, transform tool?
I don't even use that tool.
Command T? Oh, really? I use it all the time. Yeah, if you wanna like resize something, you can go to Control T or Command T, and that just allows you to manipulate the layer like that, or you can resize it. It just makes that so how you know when you're transforming something is you have that like little thin box outline come up. Oh, that's distracting around the image. Yeah, that's how you know. And then once that thing's gone, usually you'll have to. Can you demonstrate like how you go out of transform?
Okay, so if I click transform, it'll go into the tool. And then if I decide not to do anything, I can just click this button right here. And then it'll reset everything. If I want to save the settings of a transformation, like let's say I want to make it bigger like that, I can just press the check mark and it'll stay like that.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot to go over, I'm just realizing. Another thing, good rule of thumb, if you're having, right now my Photoshop is set up in a way where I auto-select a layer. You can turn this on or off right here, the check mark. Auto-selecting a layer, basically like any, let's say for example, the background layer is black. Let's say, for example, I wanted to move. Okay, that's what you can't do. With a background layer, you can't actually move it. It just becomes the background. But if I unlock it, then you'll see that, if you guys didn't see. So with a background, if I try selecting background, nothing shows up. But if I double click it and I press OK, and it becomes just a regular layer, I can select the entire layer and move it around like that. The auto selection tool, basically, if you guys watch in this layer panel, if I click the black background, it'll select that, and I can move that. If I click this one, it'll move that one. Sometimes this gets a little difficult to use, especially if you have overlapping content that you need to select a specific layer that you need to move. Then you just turn the auto select tool off, and you can move that layer without accidentally selecting the other layer. Another additional thing, if these things ever accidentally disappear, you guys have probably turned off the show transform tools controls right here. If it's unchecked, I can still move it and everything, but I can't actually transform anything. So turning on that checkbox and keeping that on is always good practice.
Do you want to go over how to like pick colors and stuff and change colors of stuff?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's just go through each tool.
Oh, okay, yeah, that works too.
So
do you want to start with the color one first though, because it's like it applies to all of them.
Yep.
Okay. So go to the two boxes on the left at the bottom of the toolbar.
Oh, right here.
Those are the color things. So you have two boxes there, and basically it's a foreground and background color. It's just like kind of two colors that you always have on hand with you. Like it's like a palette. But basically, if you double click one of the boxes, so Peter double clicked the black one, which is the foreground color, then you can change the color. So yeah, just like make it whatever color you want. Yeah, so he made it like a nice like rose red kind of color.
Oh.
So you can press OK.
Oh, actually, another thing just to point out.
Oh yeah, go over like hex codes and stuff.
So you know how we were talking about the hex codes and stuff earlier? So this is where that applies, is when you're doing a color thing. So if I were to go to the brand guide, Um, um, brand guide. Okay. I will go to the brand guide, and then I went to here. I see this hex code, or let's do cyan because it's better. So if I copy this hex code right here, and I want this exact color, I would just copy and paste it into this hex code place. You'll find this in almost all applications, so just look for the equivalent. So that's a cyan that we just saw from here. And then there you go. That's your foreground color.
And basically the foreground color now applies to like whatever you're doing that has to do with color. So if you go to the paintbrush tool, the paintbrush tool knows what color to use when it's drawing because that's the color that's picked there in the foreground. The background color, like I really don't use that tool.
I actually don't even know what it's for.
Yeah, I don't know either, but oh, it's for gradient. But
Okay, well,
it's
just
just ignore that second box. Just use the top one. But yeah, so basically that's how the paintbrush knows what color to use is it's because it's the foreground color. So whenever you want to change the color of the paintbrush tool, you have to go back to that box and change it to a different color. Yeah. Same thing applies for, let's go to like
a quick shortcut. If you want to have if you just want to have black, there's a little black and white thing.
Yeah.
This just resets it, so it just goes directly to black. If you want to switch to white, I usually just click this and it switches the foreground and background colors. So that tool just switches those two.
And it applies to everything from paintbrushes to paint bucket. Do you want to paint bucket the whole thing?
Okay, let's do that cyan color again. I like that color.
Okay.
And then because I want to change the entire, okay, see how I'm on layer 5? This is just reviewing layers again. See how I'm on layer 5? If I were to paint bucket the entire thing, it would cover the entire, all the layers. So you wouldn't be able to see anything below. But then if I were to choose layer 0 and then I put it in the background, then I would still be able to see the layer above it.
Yeah. So that's the paint bucket tool. Similar to the paint bucket tool, there's also the gradient tool. So you have all the tools on the left-hand side, right? But there's actually even more tools there. If you right-click on one of the tools, you'll get like sub-tools. So if you right-click on the paint bucket tool, you get the gradient tool. You also get a few other ones, but the gradient tool is really the only one you need. And so that's how you make a gradient, which is like the nice faded look. So if you want to change so right now it uses white and blue because the white is the background color. That's where that like second box comes to play. But those aren't the only colors that you can use to make a gradient. So can you go to the like little, I don't know what you call it, that thing on top?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right
that
here.
bar. Yeah, that thing. And then can you go to the custom one? Oh, wait. Do you have a question? Can you switch the order of the layers, like which one is on top of which? Yeah, so you can just like drag and drop the layers.
So right here, you have the background layer. I can just move it all the way
Yeah.
up to the top, and then it covers everything. So you can it's just drag and drop.
Yeah, there's no other way to do it other than drag and drop, so it's really intuitive. But yeah, so going back to that like gradient bar thing, so you can change the colors of the gradient by changing the foreground and background color, or you can go to the gradient editor thing. So you can go to that by going to what Peter clicked earlier was like the bar with the gradient on top. You'll see it automatically if you're on gradient tool. And there it gives you like some sample gradients, but you can pick your own. And you don't have to have just 2 colors in your gradient. Can you go to like, yeah, go to that one, the funky one on the second row, on the first one to the left. Yeah, so that one. That one uses multiple colors. Yeah, you can change the color of each one by
Just
clicking.
experiment around with this, I think.
Yeah, you can change the color of each one by picking the box on the bottom of the color. Whoa, so many colors.
That looks really ugly. That looks really ugly.
Yeah, so you could change the colors of that. Can you go back to that thing, the editor?
So just something to note, don't click this caret because it'll just show you all the presets. If you want to actually edit everything, click the actual.
Yeah. Can you go to the first gradient? Yeah, and then can you like move the box? Yeah. So if you move the box at the bottom, you can actually change like where the color fades. So it's always set so that it changes halfway through and you get a nice like 50-50 gradient, but you can change it. Yeah,
You can just
just play
add,
around with the buttons on the bottom.
yeah, just play around and you'll get how like all the physics of the actual
Yeah,
thing
and like
works.
can you change the color of one of the sides?
To be honest, I don't.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, the gradient tool is kind of weird. It's kind of like gimmicky, but you have to play around with it. Basically, just click the editor and then change the colors by clicking the boxes on the bottom. And yeah, you can also change the type of gradient. So that one's a linear gradient, so it goes from one side to the next. And you can change the direction based on where you like drag and drop the gradient to be. But you can also do radial gradients like that, where the color is coming from one focal point outwards.
So you click this thing right here,
Mhm.
and then you just experiment around with this tool,
Yeah,
honestly.
they're fun.
Let's say if I wanted to go back to the paint bucket tool, I click that, right click it, then I click paint bucket, and bam, oh gosh, that
Whoa.
is what I wanted. Okay, well if I go to a different layer, because it gets finicky if you're on a layer with stuff on it and you use the paint bucket tool, it'll just do like weird stuff. So usually you use your paint bucket tool to fill certain things or with borders. This doesn't have like specific borders, that's why that happens. I've never seen this before. This is actually kind of cool. Okay. What else should we go over?
Do you want to go over shapes? And then we'll go into text after that. Basically everything to do with colors.
Okay, so I mean, we've done basically everything to do with color.
Yeah, let's go into shapes. Shapes are really simple.
Okay, shapes are.
The line. Yeah. So there are different types of shapes available on Photoshop. Unfortunately, like if you have to make your own shape, then you have to use another tool. But they have like standard shapes available for you, like the line, the square, the circle. They also have like more detailed shapes. But so right now it's set on the rectangle. But if you right click on that on the rectangle, then you get like the circle, the line, I don't know what else there is, polygon. And then there's like the funky shapes at the bottom that we can explore later. Yeah, so there you can just like change what type of shape it is at the top, but you can play around with it. So can you go to rectangle? Yeah, so with a rectangle, you can change the proportion however you want. You're just going to drag and drop the rectangle onto the page. And yeah, so you can control like the color of the rectangle and the borders and stuff like that. And with shapes, it's a little different. You're not using the foreground color or background color for that. So again, the foreground color is the color at like the bottom. You're using the color picker at the top, which is specific to the shape. So that first box on the left is for the fill of the shape. So can you do example?
What?
Example, so just like put a rectangle there. Yeah, so that's for the fill of the shape. Yeah, you have lots of rectangles. And then can you change the border color? And then make it like 10. Yeah, and then you can like fix how thick you want the border to be, what color you want the border to be. If you don't want a border, just make it 0. Yeah, so can you go over like shapes and paths?
What? Where?
Shapes and paths next. Yeah, that part. I think paths are a little complicated. We'll just make sure that whenever you use the shape tool, that drop down bar next to the colors on the top bar, just make sure it's always set on shapes. If you change it to path, can you click on path?
Yeah.
Yeah, it will make it into like just like make a new one. Yeah, if you make a path, it will make like this weird like outline thing that has no color, and that's not what you want. You want like an actual colored rectangle. So just make sure you're always set on shape.
Yeah, and then the only reason I guess the only reason why I ever use paths is if I want to do like text stuff. So if I want to like surround a picture with text, I use a path. I think that's a little too complicated for the
Yeah, we
purpose
can
of
maybe
this.
do example on it later, but like it's
Yeah, if you have
yeah.
questions on how to actually like I have a picture right here and if I want to surround this entire thing but not touch the actual picture, just ask me and I can show you later. But
Yeah.
for the purpose of this tutorial, I don't think it's necessary. What else should we do?
We should go to text tool, definitely.
Okay, let's start with text tool right here. So the
T for
T.
text or type.
Or should we do placing images first? Let's do that first.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just say I wanted to start a newsletter. So typically on here would be table of contents or something. So I can placing images. So if I wanted to place a graphic, a pre-made graphic, what you would do is you go to File and then you go to Place Embedded. It's better to do embedded than linked because linked means that it doesn't actually place the file into the actual Photoshop file. Of course, using embedded, it makes your Photoshop file really big, but it guarantees that everything is linked together. So if you move a file around on your computer, that you use in your Photoshop file, it doesn't disappear from your Photoshop file. So placing embedded is always good. Let's say I wanted to put the pencil graphic in. We'll just start a newsletter, what a typical newsletter looks like. So if I go to Google Drive, then I go to oh well, I mean you guys don't really need to know this, but oh crap. Where am I supposed to go? Okay. Pencils. So if I wanted to, I usually typically like using the pencil, like the solid pencils, and you'll see why, but you can use it in all different ways. I usually resize it like that, but I don't, what should we do?
Let's make just put it at the top. Yeah, okay, so that's your header.
Let's
So
explain margins really quickly, actually.
oh yeah, okay. So margins is basically like margins are margins. It's just like your container, like where you want to keep stuff in. Um, I usually do 0.5-inch margins when I do newsletters, and that just means that you want to keep all of your content, so all of your text, your titles, your body text, want 0.5 inches away from the edge of the page. So there, he already has margins set, and those are the blue lines that are running across everything, and it's already set at 0.5. You know it's 0.5 because you have the ruler at the top and the side of the file. Yeah, so 0.5, or you can do 1 inch. 1 inch is a lot. But try to keep all of your text within the margins. Images can bleed off, like for example, that graphic, other pictures you might have can bleed off of the page, so go past the margins and hit the side of the page, but like text should always be inside. We'll get into that later when we put in a text box.
Okay.
Can you type in table of contents inside the pencil?
Yeah, so we're gonna go to text tool. So you go here, and a thing about a text tool, it's kind of finicky on Photoshop. A text layer is different than an image layer. So you'll see here that these are all photo layers, but if I click right here, it'll create a text layer, and it has a T right there. So if I type in table of contents, and if I make this, this is really ugly, I'm sorry, but if I make this Century
Also,
Gothic,
yeah, so text is one of those things like the shapes where it can be a different color from the foreground color.
yeah. Table of contents, if I want to increase size, I can either do this,
Or you can just like Command
or
T, yeah, and then like,
you can use the move tool right here.
yeah.
Um, and you select that, and then you can adjust it where you want. Holding shift down is usually best to do that. And it keeps it as a text layer. However, if I ever wanted to like, well, that's a little confusing. I don't. Okay, well, let's say we have this table of contents, and it's over the pencil. What else should we do?
Let's put in the table of contents. Can you start a new text box?
Okay. The difference between clicking on this, I actually figured this out like not too long ago. The difference between clicking and just starting to type rather than creating a text box like that and dragging it out is that this has no limits. It just keeps on going forever. And then you have to like manually press enter to create a new line. It's good practice to just create a text box like this so it has borders and limits, and you can always resize this. So yeah, so if I do this, it automatically does the dash and everything. You always want to create this text box when you're creating, like putting in articles and stuff, because or else you have to manually press enter for each one, and it's really tedious.
Can you go over, can you put in an article real quick?
What?
Or just like write like page 1, blah, blah, blah.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Doing these letter voluntarily, okay. So there are different options. It's just like Word. If you want to center stuff in the middle, or you want to right alignment or left alignment, you can do that. Hello.
Yeah, just like type in a good solid chunk of text.
Goodbye. Newsletters. Hey.
Okay, so I think that's good. Can you go to window now?
Where? Window?
Yeah, and then go to character. Yeah, so if you go window character, that just gives you more options for text, and that allows you to customize the text even more. So this allows you to do some pretty fun stuff. If you like click on the text, yeah, just like select the text. Yeah, so you can like adjust the size of the text there. You can do that on the other toolbar too. You can like change the boldness, the italics, whether it's italicized, you can make it superscript. Yeah, you can even change like the paragraph settings there. Can you go back to character? I think the coolest part of this is that you can change the character spacing. That's like that, yeah. So you can change how far apart the letters are from each other. You can also change like the height of the letter. And that's just a fun way to customize the font to your liking. Can you go to the T with the stretchy thing? Yeah, so you can like make it really tall, or you can make it really short. If you're doing graphic design, I like to use that when I make like logos and things, and that allows you to just customize the design to your liking. You can also change the width of the text. Yeah, that one.
That just makes it bigger.
You can change the color, yeah. And also, I think one of the most important ones is the top right one, the spacing in between the paragraphs. Yeah. And that allows you to change how far apart each line of text is. Yep. So like double spacing, single spacing, yeah.
Any questions?
Oh, can you go over superscript?
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you write like second or something?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I meant like 2 and then like a D.
If I highlight second, it could be goodbye squared.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, so if you're gonna do like first, second, third, etc., you would highlight the, for example, first like the S and the T, and then you would superscript it. There's no other way to do it in Photoshop other than that. Yeah, so open the window for character.
What? Wait, what?
Yeah. Oh, just like if you're gonna write first, second, third, just like for dates and stuff in your newsletter for Photoshop, there's no other way. Like it doesn't automatically superscript it for you like in Word. You have to do it manually.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how you would do it.
Okay. There's that. What else?
Any questions about anything so far? Or like specifics or stuff you guys want to go over? I think at this point we could probably just go through all the tools.
Anything specific that you guys are confused on? Please answer. No one's answering.
I can't tell if no one's answering or if it's lagging.
Oh well.
Oh, okay, no.
Okay.
Yay, okay. Let's go through each tool.
Yeah, I guess. Oh. Okay. Selection tool. Oh, let's go over rasterization.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So right now this is a text layer. So you can do some things with it, I guess. Wait, why do you rasterize a layer again? It's just to
make it simpler.
Yeah, so this text tool has some added features as you can keep on editing the text.
Also, you can't like erase a part of the text if it's.
So let's say if I wanted to erase like this Y for I don't know what reason.
Like without deleting it.
Without deleting it via the text tool, or if I wanted to.
Or like, okay, let's say you can't draw over it.
Okay, so this text layer, basically, I can't do anything to the text layer except type text. So if I try the brush tool, it says I can't click it. So it's going to basically come up with this pop-up saying this type layer must be rasterized before proceeding, as no text will no longer be editable. Rasterize the type. So rasterizing just means it becomes a layer like anything else. So if you look right here in this corner, if I click this, it still says text right here, but once I click OK, it becomes a normal layer. Therefore, I can start drawing over it. I can erase stuff. It's basically this entire thing becomes a photo that I inserted into it. Another really cool function that Photoshop has is clipping masks. Here's the magnify tool, which is really useful. How you use it, either you can click and it'll magnify, or you can click and hold and drag inward towards where you want it to be magnified. It takes some getting used to, but yeah, it's really useful. So let's say I have this orange color. If I want to change this pencil in Photoshop, there are multiple ways I can do it. I can either fill it with a different color. Oh gosh. And also images that here's where you usually typically use it, is images that you put into Photoshop. They're image layers. They're like a text layer. They're not editable. If I want to edit this thing, I rasterize it. And you can either rasterize it by doing like a fill tool and then trying to do that, or you can right click the layer and you can click rasterize. The way you tell if something is a layer is special is if it either has this T right here, or if it has this little file icon right there. So if I wanted to change the color of this, either I can rasterize this layer and then fill it with a different color, or a more simple way you can do it without editing the actual image is you can double click this. You can go to color overlay right here. This is just changing like various things about the entire layer. Color overlay, and I can layer it with a different color. So for example, black or something like that. So it doesn't edit the actual thing. And what's nice about this is that if I wanted to get rid of the color overlay and go back to the original, I can just like hide the actual effect right there. In addition, another thing that a lot of people do with a pencil, you can actually overlay an image. So, for example, if I create a new layer and then I place, let's say, I don't know, what should I place?
You can do like
let's place
gradients
Morty.
and stuff too.
Should I just place Morty right there? No, the gradient is a better example. So let's say I create the layer on the very top of this. I create a layer on the very top of this. You guys will understand what I'm doing in a second. So if I create a gradient, let's just say I create this gradient. Ooh, that looks really ugly. Okay, we'll go with it. Oh wait, it's on radio. Okay. It looks really ugly, but you guys will get it. It'll serve its purpose. So right now it's covering the entire
This page is really ugly.
This page entirely is really ugly. Basically, you can Photoshop has something called a clipping mask, where you can basically Okay, it's easier if I just show you.
Yeah.
If I right click on here and I click create clipping mask. Oh my gosh, where'd it go?
Is it overlaid over the pencil?
Oh my gosh, where'd it go? No. Oh, because color overlays on. That's why.
Oh, okay.
I was like, wait, it broke.
Oh, there you go.
Look.
You want to try the whole thing again?
Yes.
Or actually, just change the gradient inside the clipping mask layer.
I'm gonna reset this layer though, because that was really weird. Clear layer style. Okay.
Guys, don't use gradients like this. Too many gradients, not good.
This looks like something from like 2000. Another example of why like I turn auto select off usually is because I'm trying to select this layer, and right now if I'm trying to like, you see this right here, like I can move this, but if I want to move it around, oh, now it works, but because I'm on the transform tool, but it automatically selects the background layer. So turning off this auto select and doing that is good. But look, it only shows on the layer that's right below it. Does that make sense? Does anyone have questions about a clipping mask or what it does? There's only 5 viewers left. We should end.
We're losing people.
No, but it's okay. It's like late. But yeah, that's a clipping mask. So that's just a special function of Photoshop that you can do.
What are the other basics?
Selection tool. Let's say if I wanted to get rid of half of this, I can select half of it like that, and then I can press delete, and it turns back into the orange. Oh my gosh, that looks so bad. Or I don't know, what else do you use the selection tool for?
You can change the shape of the selection tool.
Yeah. So if I wanted to create like little circles or something like that. And also with circles, if I want to keep, like right here, it's like I can make it into an oval or whatever, but if I hold shift, it'll stay a circle. So just stuff like that. I can make circles in my pencil. This looks
Whoa.
really, so like stuff like that. Oh my gosh.
You can use the magic selection tool. Magic wand, yeah, and then select like the can you take off the clipping mask? Or just like, yeah, okay, so can you select the pencil? Yeah, so you can like select the pencil, you can select different shapes, you can select text, you can select anything, and then from there you can like do whatever you want. You can move the pencil, like you can or yeah, I guess in that case move the selection tool, but you can so now you have a selection tool in that shape and size, and you can do whatever you want with that. So you can like delete, can you move the selection tool to any part of the page? Okay, and then can you go to the background layer? Yeah, and then just press delete. Yeah, and now that part's gone.
Yep.
Yeah, do you want to show them how to make a cutout?
Yeah, a more common use of the background, okay, let's get rid of all this. This is like really bothering me. We're making this white. I can't handle, oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, oh, I need to make this black. So a common thing that you're gonna come across is JPEGs. If you use anything other than in the PNW promotion kit, JPEGs with white backgrounds that you may or may not want to remove. We'll do, What's an appropriate layer?
Uh, or do you want to do a people cutout?
Should we do a people cutout?
Yeah, we can do a really bad one.
Or like a white background is usually more used though.
Okay. Let me see if I have any examples.
Here.
Uh, go to like, oh, I guess you don't have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's God, these are all so ugly. What the heck? No, that one's deleted. Okay, banana. So I'm gonna save this image to my desktop.
You can also copy and paste it.
Oh, okay, well,
Oh
you
yeah,
can do
quick tip. You don't have to embed photos. You can also copy and paste directly from Google, although it's not recommended.
Where did my banana go? Oh, there it is. So when you first initially place an image, it um it
Goes
you
into
have an option
transform
of
mode.
yeah, so you have an option of transforming it. Just to place the image right there, you just press the checkbox. So you'll see right now that the image has a white background. That's because it was a JPEG when it first started out with. PNGs usually have a transparent background. Sometimes they don't. So this tool is applicable for all of them. I remember why we rasterize stuff now. It's because when you want to remove a background like this, you have to rasterize the layer because you're editing the actual image. So what you're going to do is you're just going to rasterize the layer like that, and it'll just remove that thing. So right here, it has that little image file thing. If you rasterize it, then you can edit the stuff. So one thing that I usually use the magic wand tool, if it's really basic like this, it's very accurate to just use the magic wand tool and remove the white background. Right now, mine is on contiguous. My contiguous is not checked, so it'll remove everything in the actual image matching white, so like that. But that's not actually what I want. What I want is for just the white background. So anything that's outlined with since this is outlined with black, Photoshop will recognize it pretty easily. So if I press contiguous, it'll only select the stuff that's connected together. And there is your image. I mean, of course, there's some like white stuff like on the borders of it, but you can just erase that. You can use the erase tool and just erase that and clean it up if you want. Or you can use tolerance and you can, yeah, just experiment.
Tolerance is kind of a weird concept.
Yeah, but like, there's your banana.
Yay. So you would do the same thing with people. Usually, if you have a simple background, you can just like select it and then delete it. You usually won't get like a high quality cutout in that case.
Okay, let's see. Let's say if I wanted to do a photo cutout, this is going to be really bad.
When you do photo cutouts, do you usually do selection or do you do pen tool?
I use pen tool.
Okay, yeah, same.
Let's say, okay, let's Photoshop a body photo. Let's Photoshop Juliet.
Sue.
Oh, Sue. Should we do
Sue?
Sue?
Yeah, let's do Sue.
Okay, so here is Sue Owens. She's the area administrator of 3233. You'll see how she has a background of trees around her, but sometimes you don't want the trees and you just want Sue. And it looks really creative on newsletters if you want to do that. So what you can do, first of all, make sure you rasterize the layer. Just every time you want to edit the actual image, rasterize the layer. It'll make everything possible. So what I'm going to do is, you'll see with the magic wand tool, it's actually really hard to do the actual select the layer because there's just so much going on. If you have like a white background, it'll be more accurate. But in our case, we want it really, really accurate. So we're going to use the pen tool, and the pen tool will serve the same purpose. So if I click, where's the pen tool? Right here. And then, oh my gosh, I do this, right?
Yeah,
Path. Okay, and then I'm going to just start selecting around Sue. Audrey, do you want to talk while I do this? I'm just gonna like.
Oh, okay. So with the pen tool is also another weird thing. So the pen tool utilizes a path, which is like the outline we mentioned earlier with the shapes. So the path isn't actually like a visible thing. It creates an outline like that, and it's a weird concept, but we'll show you what you can do with a path. You can from a path, the path basically creates the outline. So let's say you make a path that's in the shape of a circle. Then in that case, you can create a colored circle from that. You can create a selection. You can do a bunch of different things with a path. We'll do example later. In this case, we're going to do selection. So with a pen tool, what you're doing is every time you click the image using the pen tool, you are dropping an anchor. So an anchor is like each of those dots there. And you can connect the anchors by dropping another anchor, and then it will like instantly connect them. And they don't just have to be straight lines. Like Peter's doing straight lines right now, but you can do curved lines too. Can you do a curved line?
Oh my gosh, I've never really learned how to.
Really? Oh,
It's
okay.
just like
Yeah.
this, right? But
Um, yeah. Well,
it's
can you go like farther? Well, can you make one that's like, I don't know, like our earring or something? Like make a new path, point anchor thing.
what's
Drop a new anchor just like far away from her. Yeah, and then wait, actually, can you make a new one? But don't stop clicking it. Yeah. So drop a new anchor. Yeah, and then yeah, so then you can like curve it. You have to play around with the pen tool, but you can like create different curves and stuff. They don't just have to be straight lines.
Yeah, that was really confusing. I never understood how to do that.
Yeah, you really have to play around with it, but I can like do an in-depth tutorial of just the
Oh
pen
shoot.
tool. I can do like an in-depth tutorial of just the pen tool if you guys want in the future. Just ask me. But yeah, you can drop anchor points. So that's what he's doing right now, and you're just gonna create an outline around Sue. Yeah,
Sometimes you might get a little uncomfortable while doing this.
yeah, it's weird,
Just ignore it and
but it's
continue.
like the most accurate way to do a cutout.
Yeah. Mine isn't going to be very accurate because I'm not doing well. I mean,
Yeah, like the more anchor points you have, the more detailed it'll be. You can also use curved lines again if you figure that out. Yeah, if you do want to do curved lines, basically what you're going to do is if you just drop the anchor point and you lift off your mouse, then it'll make a straight line. But if you drop the anchor point, so click the page, but you keep on like dragging it, and then you like move it around a bit, then it'll create a curved line for you. Yeah, it's weird. And then it has like these things called handles, and that's like, sorry, can you try to curve thing again? Yeah, so see those like lines coming out of it? Those are called handles, and that just controls like how curvy it is. There's like another tool you can use to change the amount of curve, like the length of the handles and stuff, and they'll allow you to manipulate the curve. But it's like it's a weird thing, so I can help you out with that at a later time if you want. But yeah, you're just gonna keep dragging and dropping.
this is going to be really inaccurate, just by the way.
Yeah.
If you have a surface or something like that with a pen thing, it's very easy.
There's also another pen tool where, like a magnetic pen tool, where it just instantly connects to like different parts of the image based on color. We can show you that one later. It's really helpful when you're doing cutouts.
I didn't even know that existed, but okay.
Oh yeah, no, I think you'll really like it. It's really useful. It's kind of annoying too. It's like a selection tool.
Okay, almost there. Okay, and then what you want to do last is to connect the entire thing. So make sure, oh shoot. Oh wait, I didn't finish. I lied, okay. Now you connect it right there. So now I have the Olive Sue selected. So what you want to do is you want to press selection right here. You do this, right, Audrey?
Yeah.
So I press selection and it'll make a selection. You can do a feather radius, so that just gives a little leeway in terms of how much you selected. It gives like a little softer outline for Sue. But I'm gonna do. I'll just keep it at 2 pixels for now. You can experiment around with that later. So look, it outlines Sue. So right now, if I were to press delete, it'll delete the background. Like that. And that's how you do a cutout.
If you, let's say that you have, can you bring back the background?
Which?
Yeah, just bring it back. This is a weird case, but let's say you just want the background and you don't want Sue, so you want to take Sue out of the photo. Then what you can do is you can go to, what would you do? You would go to select at the top.
Like the selection tool? And right
no, the top
Oh.
thing.
Oh.
Yeah. So you go select. Oh no, like at the very top of the screen.
Oh, this one?
The top toolbar. Like the along the, yeah. No, like horizontal, the like along where file is.
Oh.
Oh, select.
What the?
Oh no, I mean like there's a tab for select. Yeah.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. And then
Inverse.
go to inverse.
And then
yeah, and then now you can delete Sue. Woo.
Also another way you can do that is if you click the selection tool and then you press right click, you can press select inverse.
There's a shortcut for it too.
Oh really?
Command Shift I. I don't know what it is for you. It's probably Control Shift I.
Control Shift I, yeah. And there you go. There's Sue. And I can resize her too. And usually with people, you always want to hold Shift down. But like if you see my newsletters, I usually cut the people out on the My Key Club story side. And that's how I do it. In addition, if you want to you can do you can just play around with this, but if you double click each layer, it pops up the layer styles menu and you can change certain stuff. So it'll make it look a little more realistic.
Oh yeah, you can drop shadow.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because I have a white background. Let's change that. Okay. So if I want, I can add some cool effects to Sue as well. If I do double click, what do you want to do? Drop shadow?
Drop shadow.
And then I can make it like, oh, this looks really weird, but.
Oh, I can't see that. Yeah, just make it bigger. Oh, there it is. Yeah, just make it really big so it's easy to see. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it just creates like a shadow under her, so it looks like it's like floating kind of. There's different things you can do with it. You can change the size of it. You can change how thick it or like how opaque it is. You could change the angle of it, so it looks like the light's coming from a certain direction. You can even change the color of the drop shadow. So if you go to, and then can you make it like, yeah, so it can look like it's glowing too. And there's like other options like outer glow, inner shadow. That looks so funky.
Yeah, I'm changing it back. I like black.
Yeah, so you can, I like to use drop shadow and inner shadow for text, for titles especially. It's just like a nice finesse to your page.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else is there in Photoshop?
I feel like we're nearing the end, and it's 10 p.m. We always say that it's not gonna be.
Sorry, guys. Oh, can you do color picker tool?
Yeah. Okay, so let's say.
Eyedropper?
Yeah, let's say I wanted the color of Sue's shirt, but I didn't know how to get it. I can click this eyedrop tool right here, and then I can hover over it, and I can just click it. And you see, it goes for that tool. And the bottom is the original color, and the top is your new color. Let's say I wanted Sue's hair. I just click that.
So like if you wanted to make the title the color of her shirt, then that's how you would do it.
And then it just changes your color right here.
Yeah.
And then you can apply it. And it gives you the hex code too if you click it right here.
So if you ever want to find the hex code of something, usually how you would do it is you throw it into Photoshop and then use the eyedropper tool and find the hex code for it. Yeah.
Okay, any last questions before we're done, I guess?
Oh, actually, sorry, one more thing. Can you go over like how to save your newsletter? Like the whole like.
Oh, okay. This is the most important thing, I think, because, okay. So let's say I wanted to finally compile my newsletter. So in the very beginning of this Hangout, we talked about how there's a PowerPoint right here. So this PowerPoint is crucial if you want to make a newsletter. So I'm going to download this. I'm going to open the PowerPoint. Jojo is the one that created these. Honestly, this looks like something where you can edit, but it's not. It's a photo. This is a photo too. This is also a photo. This is a photo. It tells you, it fakes it out for you though. So it's a photo. Oh my
If you
gosh.
guys want a template, I can make like a Photoshop version of that too. Yeah.
Yeah, but so how you would do this is, let's say this is my final newsletter. I hope not, but like here's the cover. I can save this as a JPEG onto my desktop. And then you can put 12, you can put 10, it doesn't really matter. I usually do 12. And then the 2-page spread, you can save as the JPEG as well. So just save them all as a JPEG. And then I'll just save my cover as my back cover too, just in this case. Okay, so now I have a 3-page newsletter, kind of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert the pictures that I had before. So I had the cover, which is right here, and I'm just going to overlay it, and it fits perfectly. Then I have this one. I'm going to delete this slide, actually. That one doesn't really make sense. So you see on here how there's a 2-page spread. But if I move this picture around, it's actually not a 2-page spread. It's a 1-page, but you put the 2-page spread on there. Same with this one. They're the exact same image, except one side is on each slide. I don't know how better else to explain this, Audrey.
Can you go to present? So that's what it looks like when you're editing it. But if you go present, yeah, only one side of the page shows up. And that side of the page that shows up in the present view mode is what's going to save to. So basically only what's inside the initial like boundary, like that white page, is what's going to save. Whatever is outside of that boundary is not going to save. It's just hanging off.
Yep, so I'm going to delete this picture, and I'm going to delete this picture. Oh shoot, I just deleted a bunch of them. I'm going to delete that picture. I don't know why that says at. Okay, so I'm gonna insert my 2-page slide. Here's my 2-page spread. So right there, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it the same height, and then I'm going to drag it to that end. Then I'm going to copy the image, I'm going to paste it on here, and right now it's on that end, but now I want it to move it to this end. So it's the same image, except it's going to be 2 different sides. See how, like, I wish it would be more, but this is the left side. This is the left side of the 2-page spread. Here's the right side of the 2-page spread. And if I want to insert the last thing, I have the back cover. This isn't my back cover, this is my cover, but in this case it is. And then here's your newsletter. You have your front page, you have your 2-page spread right here, and then you have your last page.
This is a terrible newsletter.
Okay, Audrey. But yeah, so if I wanted to print this, so what the majority of everyone of all LTGs and clubs use are a service called issue.com. So issue is just a digital, like it's a way to publish your newsletters online in a very nice and presentable format, such as like this. So if you want it to look like this, what you do is you go on issue, you create an account. What I recommend doing is for each club, you create a club account. You don't create a personal account, just because you want your newsletters to last. Yeah, it's and then you click up. Issue only allows PDFs. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to save as a PDF. So more options, and then you're gonna go to PDF. That's not PDF. PDF right here, and then you click save, and it saves it as a PDF. And here's my newsletter. So there's the first page, the cover photo. Here's that blank left side. Here's Sue, and then here's the back page. So if I want to publish this, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this on this account. Oh well, upload, and then I'm gonna select a file. I'm gonna use this. This is the newsletter that I just created, and then I'm gonna upload the file. And someday it'll finish. And here we go. There it is. I'm not gonna make this public. Newsletter, PowerPoint, etc. Keep unlisted. Ooh, another thing to note. I'll show you guys some another thing to note, but I can rename the newsletter right there. Another thing to note is that, first of all, it's gonna take a while to actually become an issue thing, so we're gonna have to wait for it to convert. It's not showing up here.
Oh, because unlisted.
Oh yeah.
Publication list.
Wait.
Top publication list, yeah.
It's still converting it, so I guess we'll wait. But
I go for links too.
Yeah, I guess. It is converting. Okay, one thing to note. I'll just show you guys this right now, because it's really late. In your URL, it says right now for this one, it says August 2016 newsletter, and I named it that, August 2016 newsletter. However, the newsletter, the URL right here, it's dependent on what your file name is actually. So right now, my file name that I upload is newsletter template PowerPoint PPT. So the one that I'm gonna, when this finishes converting, you'll see right here, my URL is newsletter template PowerPoint. Even though I can rename the actual title, it's not going to change this URL. So when you're uploading your own PDF or whatever, make sure to name it an appropriate name that you actually want, rather than just a random thing. So yeah, so here's the newsletter. Here's the cover page. Then if I go to the next page, here's the 2 pages. Then here's the back page.
Links.
So one more thing that if you want to do, this is just some extra stuff. It's really nice to have though. If you edit the publication, and then once it's, oh shoot, it's still converting.
You can do it on your other publications too.
Okay. So let's say the Seattle Rally booklet. So if I wanted to add a link to it, and links are basically, it makes your thing a lot more interactive. So let's say here's the Seattle Rally booklet. If I wanted to link this entire thing to the Facebook page, the Facebook event page, I can do so. I can just select that, add link, and then on Facebook, I'm gonna, what was I gonna do?
Seattle Rally event page.
Yeah, Seattle. Oh my gosh, I'll find the event page. Okay, here's the event page. If I want to link this out, I copied that URL. I'm gonna paste it right here. And then now you'll see when I go to the actual publication and I open it, if I hover over this, it'll actually turn into the little clicky thing. And if I click this, it'll open a new tab to go to the Seattle Rally event page. So it's just another way to get more interactive. I could also like link like my Facebook profile or like anything like that. So
Yeah.
anything you want.
Also, like if you have a really long newsletter, for example, like Peter's divisional newsletters are like 40 pages long. So in the table of contents, usually he links like each number in the table of contents to the corresponding page. So you can just go to the table of contents and skip ahead to a certain page.
So right
Yeah.
here, you'll see all the table of contents. If I want to just go skip ahead to like let's say the key reader tab, I can just click that, and well, and then there it is. Same with like how I linked like the Facebook events here. The event agenda will just go to the event. If you want to email me, if you click this, it will just open up my email, your email application. If you click this, it'll go to the Key Club International website. Just fun stuff like that. Just makes it a little more interactive. That goes to the PNW Key Club website. So yeah.
Do you guys have any questions about anything?
Final questions?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be something we talked about or like things you want us to go over.
Because I'm getting sleepy. No other questions? Say yes or no, please.
And if you have any questions about Photoshop, even if it's like the slightest thing, don't be afraid to message us. We've all been there. It's a learning process. Also, make sure to utilize tools like Yahoo Answers, WikiHow. They're all really useful when it comes to learning about Photoshop. Oh, Two's still watching. Yeah, it's really useful to use online tools when you're learning Photoshop, even for the slightest things. Like there's always people out there who have the same question.
The entirety of Skyline High School has no more questions. Okay. Sounds good.
Yay! You know how to Photoshop now.
Oh my gosh, that turned into a how to Photoshop 101 tutorial rather than just a how to make a newsletter tutorial. Oh well. I guess let's kind of just...
Oh, you can actually see the lag.
Oh, what?
No, you can actually see the lag, like from talking to you and then like going to the YouTube page.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to promote pirating software, but if you're going to do it, be very careful.
Yeah, you have to know how to do it correctly.
Yeah, make sure you promote your newsletters too. After it, like it does take a lot of time to make a newsletter, especially the first time around. So just make sure you promote your newsletter, share it with the people in your club, people in your school, community, your Kwanians, advisors. They all want to read it. So just make sure you send it out each time. Post it on social media, but don't just limit it to social media. Make sure you talk about it at your meetings, DCMs, and also for Kwanians, make sure you create like an email list or a Google group for them so that you can send it out to them each month. Kwanians really like reading newsletters, especially.
Yeah, Kwanians.
Like you'd be surprised how much they like reading newsletters.
Kwanians, like,
they like everything Key Club.
Yeah, they do.
Anything else?
I don't think we have anything else.
Okay, yay. If you have questions, let us know.
Okay. I'm gonna
check out www.pnwkeyclub.org.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always gonna be updated, so yeah, keep up to date with that and share it and stuff like that. And use it. And if you guys have any suggestions for resources or anything else that you'd want to see on the website, just let me or Audrey or anyone on the communications committee know, and we'll try getting it up there. So yeah.
Yeah. You can do it. Also, like a big tip with being a bulletin editor, I know like it's sometimes it becomes kind of tedious making newsletter each month. As a bulletin editor, you don't have to make a newsletter every month. You can make it like bi-monthly. You can make it like weekly. You can make it bi-weekly. You can make it as many times as you want. Consistency is always nice, so try to set a schedule for yourself and like a date that you're going to make it consistently. I think, Peter, your division, you guys make it by the 5th each month, right?
Yeah, for us, we have it by the 5th.
Okay, so try to follow that schedule. And I know it's hard to do it, like follow deadlines every single month, the same deadline each month, but you know, just try to find the motivation yourself and the people around you. I mean, like, even if it feels like people don't read your newsletter, it's still a really important communications tool. You'd be surprised how many people read it and how many people appreciate it. Yeah. Keep making newsletters.
Yep. Okay. I'm gonna stop broadcasting.
Okay, bye.